Omega relationship dynamics. Now, the core need of the Omega is to have freedom, behavioral freedom, for which they will not sacrifice. They will not sacrifice their freedom for autonomy, for goals, for safety, for authority. They want greater social status, but they won't give up the freedom they have. As a result, for the most part, an Omega would say yes to anybody in terms of any kind of relationship. However, it is a rare person that has an interest in Omegas because of their reduced social status. In that sense, you could say that the Omega belongs to everyone and to no one. Imagine if you had nothing to lose and complete freedom. You had no stake in society. The things you would do if you thought they would gain you something, if they thought they would gain you pleasure, thought they would gain you resources, thought they would gain you attention. And you fill in whatever blanks you want to. I'm attempting to be a clean and unvulgar person with this. So that the amount of potential Omega relationships that are functional are very hard to imagine. Now, first of all, we've discussed the Omega Alpha relationship in relation to alphas and omegas, the desire for a person who wants authority to enforce rules on someone who wants freedom is a powder keg of conflict. Society will always take the alpha's side, but it will never do anything to alter the omega's behavior because we don't see them as being able to change. We see that alpha as having tied themselves to an anchor. It was your choice, mister, or ma'am. Now, the second one, the omega and beta, correlates to something we talked about in beta relationship dynamics, that there are collectivist betas who, if they do not find themselves connected to a partnership with an egalitarian partnership with another collectivist beta, they will collect an omega as a kind of pet. I know that's a terrible way to put it, but the status will not be equal, but it's a sense of like, look, we're not judging here. Look what I brought into my house. See what an unjudgmental, unbiased, unprejudiced person I am. I've brought in this. It makes me look like a really wonderful virtue signaling person to have taken on the needs of this omega or omega beta. And as discussed in sigma omega, omega sigma, we see that there is a massive conflict between, well, autonomy and freedom almost sound like synonyms. They're absolutely not, because autonomy is earned, autonomy is costly, autonomy is, I've given up the safe route, I'm taking the unsafe route because I want to, and I have to be self-disciplined and careful. And if I want achievement and respect, I got to be way more careful than an alpha and not just get into pointless fights. Because society will take the alpha's word over the sigma's word 90% of the time. So then, you have that apparent similarity. I mean, you would think there'd be a similarity between sigma and omega because they're both outside of the hierarchy. And I think that for that reason, you can have two people that, feel a kinship because they're both artists, or both rebels, or both revolutionaries, or both people that believe in tiny houses, or living in your car, or living off the land, that externally look similar. And yet, under the surface, are profoundly philosophically different. Not an impossible conflict, not an unsurmountable mount, but a very challenging difference of opinion. Now, when we come to omega, omega, two omegas You have two people that want total freedom. They'll do whatever it is that the situation permits them to do. Once again, not limited in the way that a alpha or beta or sigma would be by, I have things to lose. There's consequences to my goals or my safety or my authority if I do something unseemly. So these are two people. I do not think that what am I saying? I think that when omegas are pulled out of that lower spot into relationships with usually collectivist betas, you'll see an actual respectable legal marriage. I think that where you have two omegas, I don't think there's even a sense that there's something official or legal to be observed. That they're too free and too different, and may not have the resources or the inclination to do so. You may have seen two people that live outside of houses that call themselves married, but they never had the time or money or resources, and then their church will insist on marrying them. That will be because that group of people want to inject some respectability to them. Probably betas wanting to encourage the safety and security of those misbehaving, misguided omegas. That's how they'd phrase it. If they cohabitate, if they're together at all, it's cohabitation, if even that. Because my hypothesis goes, if generally no one wants a sigma, but sigmas are willing to say yes to anybody, sigmas belong to everyone. I don't mean to make that vulgar. Please like and subscribe.